Hey, shalom mishpocha. This is Rabbi Yehudah coming at you with another edition of Ray Bash's Ramblings. I want to address an issue that kind of flares up and raises its ugly head every once in a while, just kind of like an old sports wound that decides to flare up and be inflamed sometimes. And that's the issue of attacking our brothers and sisters, of attacking other ministries and attacking other people. It happens here in Messianic and Netzari Judaism. It happens in Christianity. As long as there is fallen, sinful, human nature and flesh, we're always going to have this issue. It's just that sometimes it flares up worse than others. And it just seems as if it's flaring up a whole lot right now, which is really ironic because we just passed the 9th of Av. And the 9th of Av, if you'll remember, on the Hebraic calendar, is the most darkest and ominous day on the Hebraic calendar period. It's when anything and everything bad could happen to Israel. Both temples were destroyed. The pogroms happened. The Holocaust happened. All this stuff. And the rabbis and sages say that these things came upon us because of our lack of love for one another. And our lack of love for one another led us into paganism and into idolatry. And yet we still have this audacity, and we still have this habit of just backbiting and attacking one another. Now, I wrote a blog recently addressing this issue, and I'd like to read it to you. It's called Evil Sometimes Wears a Mask of Justice. Our fallen and depraved nature, our Yetzer Hara, evil inclination, the rabbis say, is there to challenge us, not to tempt us, but to keep us in check and challenge us to actually look towards and choose the Yetzer Tov, the good inclination. Yet, we oftentimes use it as an excuse and guise for false piety and righteous indignation. Our flesh wants so bad to be that Jesus, to be that Yeshua with a whip that chases out the money changers from the temple, when in fact it's just our fallen selves that simply loves a bloodbath and a good old-fashioned lynching, character assassination, if you will. We even go so far as to twist Scripture to justify our witch hunts. And Romans 16:17 is a classic. Mark those who cause derision, We quote that with our chest puffed out and say, see, I'm justified in my campaign against so-and-so. But if you care to look at that verse in context, with the passages above and below, you'll see that it's a last resort. Not only that, it's only reserved for those who teach contrary to the cardinal doctrines and essential doctrines of our faith, and those that are trying to claim that they're actually not, so as to infiltrate and corrupt our circles. This verse is not speaking of those who simply have a different Halacha or tradition than our own. Why do we not focus instead on these verses? Galatians 5:13. For brethren, ye have been called into liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but love and serve one another. Ephesians 4:2. With all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love. John 15:12. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Romans 12:10, be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love, in honor, preferring one another. Romans 13:8, owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the Torah. 1 Thessalonians 4:9, but as touching brotherly love, ye need not that I write unto you, for ye yourselves are taught of God to love one another. 1 John 3:11 and 23. For this is the message that ye have heard from the beginning, that you should love one another. And this is the commandment, that you should believe on the name of the Son, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, and love one another as he gave us commandment. 1 John 4:7-8 and 11-12 and 16. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and every one that loveth is born of God, and knoweth God, and he that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought to love one another. No man hath seen God at any time. If we love one another, God dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in us. And we have known and believed the love that God hath called to us. God is love, and he that dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in him. 2 John 1:5. And now I beseech thee, lady, not as though I write a new commandment unto thee, but that which we have heard from the beginning, that ye love one another. Hebrews 10:24. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and good works. Mitzvot. 1 Peter 3:8. Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another. Love as brethren. Be pitiful. Be courteous. So as we can see by those slew of passages, love and edification, that is the order of the day. Thank you so much for watching. Shalom and Shavua Tov.